A key to success of turning the Afghan National Security Forces into a counterinsurgency capable force, I think, is partnering. Now, partnering involves training the Afghan National Security Forces. We've been doing that for about 8 years. But it also involves working with them on a day-to-day basis, training with them on a day-to-day basis, planning with them, letting them plan their operations, executing the operations together, living on the same compounds, sharing the same risks, and partnering from every level, from squad level to Ministry of Defense level or Ministry of Interior level. We really haven't done that in the past. There are several organizations that have partnered at different levels with various levels of success, but we've never had true partnering. And if we continue to lead the ISAF because we don't trust them and we don't think they can do a good job, they're going to continue to let us take the lead. We've got to lead beside them. We've got to let them understand that this is their war, that they must do the planning and they must execute it. And we've got to understand that they're not always going to be perfect, and they're not always going to do it the way that we would want them to done, the way that our forces would have done it. And we've got to accept, what is good enough for them. The insurgents aren't 10 foot tall. The insurgents aren't undefeatable. The insurgents are very defeatable. I mean, they're Afghans, just like our Afghan National Security Forces. So we have to truly learn to trust them and to push them into the lead, to support them, to lead beside them, to lead behind them, and sometimes to push them forward. But we've got to build a true trust and confidence. And one way I like to look at it is you could have a squad of coalition forces on one side of the road and a squad of ANSF, Afghan National Army on the other side of the road, and you take contact. Now, naturally, when you take contact, especially if you're sort of a young force, you sort of go through your battle drills and you do what you're supposed to do. But then you sort of you sort of look around, and you look at your leaders, but you also look around at your comrades, and you see what are they doing? Are they firing their weapons? Are they aggressively moving on the enemy? What are they doing? Are they cowering behind a rock or behind a building? And of course, if they're fighting aggressively, that emboldens you to fight aggressively. And we think the same thing will happen with the ANSF. When we're out there sharing the same risks and we take contact, I think they're going to look over at the coalition forces and they say, wow, look at them. They're fighting hard. They're risking their lives. And that's going to embolden them also to be more bold and to be more aggressive and to fight with us shoulder to shoulder. So we have to truly understand that true partnering. Respect is always mutual. We haven't always respected the Afghan National Forces as we should. And we have to partner again from the squad level all the way to the Ministry of Defense level, because at the end of the day, we can tell the Afghan security forces what to do, but at the end of the day, their chain of command is Afghan. And so we have to put pressure completely up and down the chain of command to truly make them a counterinsurgency capable force. Again, at the end of the day, the mission is protecting the people. The tactical directive lays out some restrictions to help us protect the people. Now, you hear many cases where you've heard people say, well, that the Afghan people are more important than the coalition forces. That is not true. That is not true at all. Anytime that one of our coalition forces feels that it is an imminent danger, they have all the authority in the world, and they don't need to ask permission from anyone to call in whatever direct fire support or indirect fire support or close air support that they need to protect their forces. That's what we expect our commanders to do. But what we're asking folks to do now is to be more discriminate. And let's say you're in a firefight and you are under imminent danger. So you call in close air support. You call in a fast mover, a bomber to help you. By the time, for whatever reason, I mean, the bomber's probably not immediately overhead, but it's going to take a certain period of time for that bomber to get there. Now, by the time the bomber gets there, he's going to ask permission, specific instructions. Is he cleared hot to bomb? Now, if you're not taking fire anymore, my question to you would be, do you drop the bomb? I hope your answer would be, no, I don't drop the bomb. The natural inclination would be, yes, I want to drop the bomb. One of my mates was killed. One of my friends was shot in the arm, and he's in a great deal of pain, and I want some kind of revenge. But now that bomber's overhead and you're not taking fire anymore, you're not in that imminent danger, do you drop the bomb? My answer is probably no. Because this is a tactic the insurgents have used for a long time. The insurgents made contact, they inflicted some casualties, and your natural inclination is to drop that bomb, but the insurgents aren't there anymore. They're gone. The only people left in that compound is those innocent civilians that they were using. That's somebody's house. In the past, we had probably dropped that bomb because, well, we thought they were still there, but the insurgents aren't there. They're long gone. I mean, they don't survive by being dummies. They understand what tactics they're using. So I think that is one of the differences in the tactical directive, is to be more discriminate. There's always fire control measures. There's always been rules of engagement. Nothing in the tactical directive slows things down. What the tactical directive tells everyone to do is to take a process, a different set of fire control, and realize what we're really doing and what damage we're really inflicting. Are we really killing the enemy? Was it really worth destroying that compound? I mean, there's no insurance companies over here. You destroy a compound, you destroy someone's crops. I mean, that is their life. And if the insurgents got away, sometimes it's okay that the insurgents got away. Did they live to fight another day, or did we show the people that, okay, we were discriminate, we didn't destroy their compound, we did drive the insurgents away, and maybe next time when the insurgents come back into town, maybe the people will show a little bit more support because they don't want to get bombed, they don't want their compounds to be destroyed, and maybe they'll help us keep the insurgents out. Maybe they'll help us and show us where those IEDs really are, because they don't want to be involved in that combat either, because they know that they're the ones that are going to pay for the price. But we've got to show that we're discriminate, and that we're really there to help them and not just indiscriminately bomb and destroy their lives or destroy their people. There is no such thing as an Afghan expert. Anybody that tells you an Afghan expert, you almost need to turn them off immediately. What counterinsurgency is about is understanding that we can't look at Afghanistan through Western eyes. We may not understand exactly how they look at things, but what we have to do is know that we don't understand how they look at things, and listen really intently to figure out what they really want, what works, and what doesn't work. Most of the time we go in there with our mentality and we look around and we say, you need a road and you need a school. Well, they do need a road and they do need a school, but right now they need a piece of equipment to come in here and clean out that drainage ditch. That's what they need. That's what's going to make life good for them right now. That's what's going to bring them to their standard of living, that they can get by day to day. The school perhaps can come later. The road can perhaps come later. But we need to find out what they really need. And in a lot of cases, we haven't really been good at that. The people that are going to find out what the villagers really need are the coalition forces. Because you're going to be there day to day. You're going to deal with the villagers day to day. You're going to build the confidence of the villagers and find out exactly what they really, really need. Not what we think they need, but what they need.